middle-class background.
I asked Millie Beneke what exactly were the charges against her son.
Oh dear, I wish you hadn't asked me that. So I think it was burglarizing with the, I don't know the technical wording, but with intent to destroy public property. But I don't know what the technical name would be.
But actually the action was to burn the draft cards.
Right. They had, there were actually 4 different groups who entered different draft offices simultaneously with the intent of destroying the draft records. They weren't successful. I think only in one place were they successful, and those young men were not caught. But Brad was one of the unfortunate ones.
And did you know about it when he did it? Or?
No, no, absolutely not. And it was a great shock because we've always been very law-abiding people, and with Arnold being a lawyer, I think we were probably more conscious of obeying the law than a lot of families. I think maybe from a selfish point of view, to begin with, I was distressed. But as time went on, and I could see how important it was to him, and how important it was that we understand what he was doing, I became more supportive of him. As I say, Arnold was supportive right almost from the beginning. Not supportive of breaking the law, but supportive of doing whatever he could, you know, to end the war.
Talk about a fraud on the young men of America. That was it, I'll tell you. And I couldn't blame these young men for protesting. Even though I spent all the years in the war that I did. And I believed in that war, you know? It was right, but there was so much wrong in this that I hope this country never has to go through this again, I'll tell you. It was pretty well torn apart.
I was very supportive of Mr. Nixon, his first term, and when I was Republican chairwoman and Mr. Nixon was up for election in the second term, I'm probably one of the few Republicans in the state who voted for Mr. McGovern. Now I'm just involved with city politics, just on the city council.
1979, the difference between unit revenue for the sale of...
But Millie's new interest is not politics. It is show business.
It's something I've wanted to do all my life, and I've just found time to do it. Had 5 children, and they're all gone from home now. And it's something I've always wanted to do, and I decided to do my own thing, and this is the result. I've written 2 plays.
How would you define your play, Much Ado About Corn?
I don't know, but it was really corny.
It is my pleasure and duty to announce the arrival of the Count. Oh la la! Otto von Contemptuous!
I've come to evict you! The mortgage on your corn kingdom is due today. You haven't paid. Out you go, off my land. Zounds! It'll be mine, all mine. I'll be king villain.
You know, Corny, we could trick him, poison him, give him some of Granny's corn liquor.
We must prevail, Earthy dear. We're the only royal kingdom left in this vast country, and we're surrounded by people, individual people, farmers they're called. They own
Meet
all
Steve,
the land
leading man of the Buffalo Creek Players, one of Glencoe's most eligible bachelors, who inseminates cows for a living.
Okay, this is bull sperm. It's color dyed green to signify that it's Holstein. Okay, I have to, in order to ensure the best sperm quality. I have to get it into the cow as soon as I can. So, okay. I'm inserting my hand into the anus so I can, right beneath my hand is the cervix. And my destination is to thread the pipette through the cervix and then deposit the semen into each horn of the uterus. Okay, that's what you get for your money right there. So, now, in about 2 hours, she'll release an egg, and hopefully the sperm will unite with the egg, and then we'll have conception. And then the gestation is 9 months. My company has their bulls in DeForest, Wisconsin. The semen is processed and frozen there, and I pick up monthly shipments. It is frozen and stored in liquid nitrogen. The sperm life is indefinite. They started in 1953. They have used ampules from that time period and have still settled cows, and that's a period of 26 years. Some of these cows produce 80 or 90 pounds of milk per day. They run into problems if their udder does not stay up where it belongs. They generally let them have about 2 months rest period before they come in with their next calf, because there's a lot of strain put on them when they're producing this much milk. This is a heavily cow-populated area, so I can make a good living within that area.
Steve inseminates about 5,000 cows a year. He loves his job, but he also enjoys the singles life.
And you're still a bachelor. Could you tell us why?
Well, when I had the money, I didn't have the time. When I had the time, I didn't have the money. I enjoy the lifestyle. I enjoy the independence of being a bachelor. I live my life. I do. My job comes first. But when that's done, I have to keep my mind clear, I have to do other things too. I could put 20 hours a day into my job if I wanted to, but my mind would not be able to handle it.
Would you eventually consider getting married and having children at some point, or is it?
My target date is 35 years when I'm 35, so I've got 4 years to go yet to find the right one.
Would it be possible for you to have a relationship with a girl here without being married?
I've done it several times. It's no problem.
No problem at all.
Not to me. I don't let it bother me. No. I'm sure some people would get a little uptight about it. I'm sure some people would think people were spying on them. Doesn't make any difference to me.
But would you say is divorce completely accepted?
But that varies from person to person. Some of the older people accept it as the way things are. Some look at their own marriage and they've made their marriage work for 30 years. They wonder why the kids aren't able to. But I think a lot of people realize that the times are changing and pressures are different. Economic pressure situations are much different than they were even 10 years ago.
But it's still a very religious community, no?
Yes, there are factions that are quite religious. I'm not affiliated with any church at this time. I haven't been for a while. That's just my lifestyle. That's my own choice.
Has there been any situation where people couldn't cope with the public opinion or anything like that?
Well, there are factions that don't think much of the theater group because they think we're too progressive, that we're trying to do too much too fast. But anytime, I don't care where you are, if you try to be progressive, there are people that are trying to keep things at a status quo. That's just the human nature. What impresses me a lot about this town, people don't try to make you think their way. I mean, they'll allow you to think your way. They might not agree with it, but they'll allow you to do it, which I think is very good.
Have you been working here long?
About 3 weeks.
What made you decide to be a gas station attendant?
sick of being a waitress.